Alright, what's up, guys? Coming at you with another episode of Redzone, Endzone, Week 10. We got another debate this week. I'm going up against Peter today. So,
Yikes.
yeah, we're going to debate a few topics like our MVPs, AFC wildcard, and the best two teams in the NFL right now. How are they looking? So, we're going to start. We're going to dive right in. We're going to talk about MVP. So, do you want to start us out, Peter? Who do you think this year's MVP should be?
Okay,
So far.
so I might be a little biased, but as a Green Bay Packers fan, I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers. So my point why Aaron Rodgers should be MVP, he's come back from 2 injury seasons back-to-back, his collarbone and then his knee, and he's put up phenomenal numbers this year. He's gone for 17 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and he has just put up phenomenal numbers considering that like everybody that he's been injured and it's taking a little while for him to recover. Obviously, last year everybody thought that he was going to do super good. He didn't. Well, they went 6-9-1. Didn't do very much. But this year, they definitely got more fired up. This is probably the best offense he's had since 2016 when they went to the NFC Championship game against the Falcons. He has MVS, he has Adams, he has Kumrov, and then now if you even look at the running back situation of Jones and Williams. They're both split backs, so they can both catch and run, and they put up phenomenal numbers. The defense, while it has been slipping, has probably been the best since 2010, and it may not be important as why they have a good defense. You might ask that, but that allows them to get more turnover, so you can go down the field and score more points.
Yeah,
you know.
But what does that have to do with Rodgers winning MVP? Like him playing so good.
Because that gives him a lot more momentum on offense, is what I think. Because if the defense gets him all hyped up and he's ready to go down, he's ready to make some big plays, he's ready to score touchdowns, he's ready to make his case for MVP. And with Matt LaFleur coming in and getting a lot of new energy to Green Bay, specifically Rodgers, we've definitely seen a different side of him that we haven't seen in a pretty long time. No, I definitely think he is deserving. These other candidates here, Wilson, Lamar Jackson, CMC, are obviously very worthy opponents, but in my opinion, I have Rodgers winning.
And don't forget Deshaun Watson too, but yeah, definitely I think it's going to come down to 3 candidates this year. I don't think Tom Brady's going to be one of them, or Aaron Rodgers, but I think it's going to come down to Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, and Lamar Jackson, because what Lamar Jackson did last Sunday night against the Patriots was insane. He carried that team, the Ravens, and just they put on a ton of points against the Patriots. And the Patriots defense hasn't been allowing anything. And for Lamar Jackson to go and just go out there and just make a statement and really just put on a show in that game. You know, he was taunting him, he was high-stepping, he was playing around with the ball in the middle of a play and going to the end zone. He was slipping past like some of the best linebackers in the league on that defense. What he was able to do in that game alone was phenomenal. But it's been game after game he's been able to do that. He even beat the Seahawks. I mean, watching that Seahawks game, you got Russell Wilson on one side, Lamar on the other. Russell Wilson played really well, still lost that game. I mean, Russell did all he could, but Lamar Jackson is just running the rock like better than anyone in the league. I mean, that's why people are calling him a running back, but the dude can throw the ball too.
Yeah, he's kind of like Michael Vick, but better.
Yeah, for sure, he's better.
Definitely.
Lamar is looking real good. If anyone's going to knock down the Patriots in the playoffs, it's most likely going to be the Ravens because of that guy. And especially if the Ravens get a bye this year, the Ravens are going to have to thank Lamar Jackson for that because he's just played so well and he's just been dominating a lot of these teams. And then you look at a guy like McCaffrey, who is really all on his own on the offense. Kyle Allen, I mean, he's doing all he can as a backup, but
he's not doing much. They don't have many weapons to help him out.
Yeah, then again, they can't ask him to do much, and he doesn't have very many weapons in the passing game, you're right. He's got like Greg Olsen and some no-name wide receivers, and then there's just McCaffrey just doing everything for that offense. He's running all over the place, and he has more all-purpose yards and more touchdowns than LaDainian Tomlinson had his MVP year when he won the MVP as a running back. So when you're talking about a running back who has better stats than the only other running back that's won the MVP award since like Adrian Peterson, it's been Peterson and Tomlinson who won it, and McCaffrey's putting up better numbers.
Okay. So the 3 people I'd pick for here, I'd definitely pick Rodgers, I'd pick Lamar Jackson, and I'd pick CM and Christian McCaffrey. I'm not picking Russell Wilson because he barely beat the Bengals. A lot of the
That was
games.
week 1.
Yeah, still, there's a lot of close games where he just barely managed to beat them. If the team had put up a more fight, he would have lost. No, but I just don't think that Russell Wilson is going to win this year. I mean, you look at some of the games that have been relatively close, and they just barely managed to slip by. That's not what an MVP would do. An MVP would go in the field and just completely destroy the other team, and that's not something Wilson's doing.
Did Rodgers completely destroy the Chargers last week?
No, it's called a trap game.
You can't just blame it on it being a trap game. And then
Look at the bounce back they've had. What, they lost to Philadelphia?
Bounce back, that was their last game.
No, against the Philadelphia too. They were projected to win that and they lost. But look, there was a trap game clearly for them because they definitely undermined Philadelphia next week.
Yeah, but MVPs don't lose trap games. MVPs don't have trap games. Russell Wilson hasn't had a trap game.
The Bengals.
The Bengals was week 1 and he won that game. The Packers had 50
by 1
total
point.
yards in the first half because Rodgers was not there for them. Rodgers, don't get me wrong, I love Rodgers. I think
Nobody
he's
on
the
the
GOAT.
team was there for them.
Rodgers carried the Packers when Mike McCarthy was there. And now that they have a capable coach in Matt LaFleur, the Packers are doing pretty good. But Rodgers has been this good all along, and I don't think Rodgers is playing any better than he's played in other years. I actually think he's playing a little bit worse, even though the Packers are doing better. The Packers are doing better because, like you said, the defense is getting better, and Matt LaFleur is there. Not because Rodgers is playing better than he usually plays. Rodgers played an MVP level a couple of years ago and years before that. But this year he hasn't been playing quite the same level. It's been more that defense and the coaching really carrying them. When you got a guy like Wilson, though, who's really carrying the Seahawks now that he doesn't have a defense, that's what really warrants an MVP. And so I think Russell has to be one of the front runners, and especially ahead of Rodgers right now.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I personally think that we've definitely seen a lot more spark out of Aaron Rodgers than we have in the past 2 years, 2016 or 2017, 2018. It's definitely the old school Rodgers that we're used to seeing. I think his goal, he even said this jokingly with a interview. He said, "I want to win at least one more Super Bowl and one more MVP, and then I think it would be done." And I think this is going to be the year that he's going to be able to do it out of everything because he's obviously getting older, and this is just a year that with like a great team overall around him, a great head coach, a great staff, that he will be able to win MVP. Okay, moving on to debate number 2, or more of a discussion likely. Are the Patriots any good? What do you got to say?
I think the Patriots are pretty good. They always slip up at least once every year, and during the regular season, all the reporters and everyone wants to come out and say, "Oh, look at the Patriots, it's over. Tom Brady's falling off a cliff. Oh no, what are they gonna do? Tom Brady's 40 years old. What's happening in New England? They suck. They just lost to the Ravens." Oh my goodness. No one better fall into that trap this year because it happens every year. And then the playoffs come around, the Patriots have a bye, they win one game, boom, they're in the AFC Championship playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl every single year. It's as simple as that. Tom Brady's still the quarterback, Bill Belichick is still the coach, and this defense is playing better than ever before. They didn't beat Lamar the first time, but if they see him again, they will be better prepared. No matter what Bill Belichick says, they will be better prepared. And they're probably the favorite still to win the AFC and win the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. There's a lot of everybody is so quick to target the Patriots because they've been the team to beat in the last however many years. And it just shows that, I guess, once you get successful enough that people hate you, then you're obviously doing something right in New England, that per se, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I don't know with Brady's age, obviously catching up to him eventually, because all great athletes eventually, the age catches up to them and they just don't perform as well as they used to. You can give very easy samples of quarterbacks throughout the NFL who that's happened to them. I definitely think that they're going to bounce back, obviously. That's no lie. They're probably going to Super Bowl this year, an early Super Bowl prediction. But I just don't think it's hard. It'll be hard to say this year. The defense definitely carried Tom Brady, but then you could also make the argument that they haven't really played decent, except for the Ravens and maybe the Bills. The Bills probably been the second best team they faced, and the Bills aren't even that good. I just think that the Patriots, they're a pretty decent team, and I could see them going pretty far. I wouldn't say Super Bowl though, because they're probably running into Ravens or Chiefs and get destroyed.
Get destroyed against the Chiefs? I don't know about that. I doubt the Chiefs would really destroy them, especially from what we saw last year. I know the Chiefs won the first game, probably should have won the second, but the way Bill Belichick game planned those two games, and now that the Patriots have a better team, I think the Patriots are going to be able to win.
Do you think that Baltimore's more of a threat then? Especially to get home field advantage?
Right now, I would say the Ravens are more of a threat just because that defense for the Ravens is much better than the Chiefs' defense. I think the Patriots, if they really wanted to, and if Brady comes into his playoff form, which I think he will once the time comes, I think the Patriots can easily put up 30, 40 against the Chiefs. And a lot of that defense and its success this year has been game planning. And it's really hard to game plan against Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes, just because of how talented they are. And really, they're just amazing and whatever. They just have so much more talent than a lot of other players on the field. But when it comes down to it, I think Belichick is going to scheme well enough in the playoff games to get those 2 wins. It's going to be close, but I think the Patriots still have to be the favorite because I don't think there's anyone you could really put above them. There's a chance that they lose, but right now I would still call them the favorite for sure. All right, so what about the Niners? Are they as good as everyone says they are? I mean, they're undefeated, but are they as good as the Patriots? Are they the best team in the NFC right now? That's what we're going to talk about next.
Okay, so granted, the Niners are 8-0, but I definitely think their upcoming matchups will get more difficult. They obviously are playing Seattle. They're playing Green Bay. And I think these teams should definitely be, they could put a dent on their momentum and their 8-0 record. I mean, if you looked at the Cardinals game, granted a win's a win, but that was a close game. I didn't watch much of the game, but like a lot of the highlights, I was like, this is kind of scary. Like, this team has had so much momentum. I don't know eventually if the train's going to stop or like, are they going to fall off? I definitely think they're going to make the playoffs this year. They're even if they only win a couple of their games and lose all the other ones, it should be like 10-6 to make the playoffs. Granted, they won't have the home field advantage, but I think that's what they're trying to go for. They've definitely had a huge turnaround since last year. Obviously, Jimmy G injured, and the Niners' hopes were quickly diminished. But now with him being healthy and back, I definitely see this team going pretty far. I don't think they're as good as everybody says they are per se, because they definitely had a lot of like instances where they nearly lost.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I think the 49ers are 8-0. Right now they have the best record in the league, but tougher times are coming up for them. And when you're a team with a lot of young players and you haven't been in this situation before where you're favorites to win a lot of these games, once you get against more experienced teams like the Saints and like those teams in the division, the Rams and the Seahawks, who were just in the playoffs, Rams were in the Super Bowl last year, those games are going to be close. Those games are going to come down to the wire, and the 49ers are really going to have to mature before then or in those games if they're going to have a chance of winning and if they're going to have a chance of getting a bye or having the 1 seed in this conference. The NFC is much better than the AFC this year, and the 49ers, even though they're 8-0, they're 8-0, there are teams right up behind them. Like the Vikings are sitting on the outside looking in, but they're 6-3, so they're only a game and a half behind. So the 49ers have to be careful. They have 2 other great teams in their division that they'll play again. But this team obviously is talented. You got Kittle at tight end, and he's looking like one of the best players in the league. Jimmy Garoppolo has been awesome at quarterback, and that defense is just amazing. So as long as they can keep it up, they can easily make the playoffs, and they can easily make a run. But if they get too far ahead of themselves, they could be in for a tough ride coming down the stretch.
Okay. No, definitely agree. Couldn't say it any better myself, honestly.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, the 49ers could be in for a long, hard season if the momentum does all of a sudden halt. Okay, so our next topic is what 2 AFC wildcard teams are making the playoffs this year. Jacob, what do you think?
Okay, I'm going to start with the Colts as my first team to make it. So right now they're already in the playoff picture as a wild card. They're going to be the 6th seed if the playoffs were to start today. They're behind the Bills. But I think the Colts are a better team. Jacoby Brissett will be back. They play the Dolphins this week. They'll use Hoyer, but they should come out of that game with a win. And then just going forward, Brissett's look pretty good. The defense, obviously, we know what it's like. It's pretty good. And that offensive line might be the best in the league. Marlon Mack's look pretty good. So that whole team just all around is capable of making a run, making the playoffs. Past that, who knows? Because the AFC is gonna be, separated between the division winners and the wild card teams because there's got to be like some disparity when you look at it because the wild card teams like the Bills right now are the 5th seed and you got teams like the Ravens, Patriots, Chiefs, and Texans above them. So who knows if those teams can compete? And obviously you see here like teams like the Chargers, Jags, Steelers, who's like everyone thought their season was lost. They're right in the middle of things. So the AFC wild card especially is going to have some average or just above average teams making it. I think the Colts are a team that might not even be top 10 in the league, but I think the Colts are really going to make it because there just isn't that much competition, and the Colts are talented enough to get that spot. And that 6th seed, I think it's going to come down to the Raiders and the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, not many people have noticed this, but Phillip Rivers has led the NFL in passing yards, Peter. He has led the NFL in passing yards.
He's led the NFL in passing yards.
Yeah, and then the Chargers defense just demolished the Packers offense. Held them to 50 yards in that first half. Once this Chargers defense gets itself together, which it looks like they already have, they can really be contenders. And even if they make the playoffs, they can start reeling off some wins because I think this team has a lot of talent. They just haven't shown it in the beginning of the year. And then when you look at the Raiders, they're also a team that is capable of making it. I think they'll be right up with the Chargers. It's just going to come down to whether or not that offensive line and Josh Jacobs and that offense stays healthy. And if that defense, they're not the greatest, but if they can just hold up, I think they can go 8-8, 9-7. John Gruden can rally the troops and they can make their case, but it's going to be close. But I think the Bills are going to fall out. I know they got one more Dolphins game, one more Jets game, but I don't know about the Bills. And even if they make the playoffs, I don't see them going anywhere because I'm not high on this Bills team. I don't like Josh Allen. They just lost to the Eagles. I don't trust him. I don't like the Bills. I think they're falling out.
Interesting. Okay, so I agree with you on your number 1 pick. I definitely have the Colts winning. Everybody thought that Luck was lost after Andrew Luck decided to retire. Everybody thought that Jacoby Brissett was not going to turn out that well, and that the Colts were definitely going to be a disaster this year. However, Luck has kept with them in the sense that they are now in the playoff hunt. I definitely think they're going to be heading into the playoffs with the team overall, the defense being very good at doing their job, getting them turnovers, making sure that opponents don't run the ball down the field and score. Jacoby Brissett just overall playing very good at QB. And then you have T.Y. Hilton at wide receiver. He's very talented at what he does. Obviously, he's injured right now, but I think when he comes back, it'll be a small setback, but he'll get right into the swing of things. And then Marlon Mack at running back. I mean, what are you going to do to stop him? I personally see them going really far. The NFC is a lot more talented than the AFC. You got the Texans, you got the Chiefs, you got the Ravens, and you got the Patriots. I think
like not the NFC. That's like the
yes,
top
of course, the top of the AFC. I definitely think that the Colts could surprise people, pull up the upset.
They already beat the Texans.
Yeah, exactly. If they're not going to get home field advantage, obviously, because they don't have that good of a record.
They could steal it from the Texans, possibly. But
true, yeah.
They won't get home field advantage against Chiefs, Ravens, or Patriots.
No. But if they could pull up the upset, that might take the momentum. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, listen here. I'm not saying they're going to do that. But they could.
AFC Championship?
Maybe divisional. I think probably divisional is the furthest we've got.
I only see them going to the divisional.
Yeah, I don't see them going any further. And then my second team, this is hard. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think the Chargers are gonna get it because they're already 4-5. They need a couple more losses, and then I can easily see that happening to them. So I don't think the Chargers are gonna get in. Jacksonville, if Minshew is benched. He's benched, and maybe Nick Foles should lead him somewhere. But there's a lot of hype around Nick Foles, and he hasn't really delivered. He's kind of like the Bears this season. A lot of hype and deliver, or haven't delivered.
Nick Foles has played like one quarter all year.
He still hasn't done good though. And yes, last debate you were ripping on the guy, saying you should bench him.
Yeah, but you can't say he's done bad this year. He's only played one quarter of a game.
Well, we have to see how that turns out. But I still don't think they're gonna make it. The Steelers, they're okay. but I could see them probably getting beat by another team and making it out. The Raiders are a very good team. I don't know. I know you're not high on the Bills, okay? I know you don't like Josh Allen. Listen here.
Oh, I hate Josh Allen.
Listen here, okay?
But he's my fantasy quarterback, though.
They had a high playoff drought. Josh Allen, obviously, yeah, he's not the most talented quarterback. We've seen better. But when he gets into the swing of things, you see him throwing the ball on field, you see him running down the field. He's a dual threat quarterback. Obviously, he's the white version of Lamar Jackson. Let's be honest, but worse.
He's not the white version of Lamar Jackson. He's also much bigger too.
Yeah,
he can throw the ball much farther. He's not like Lamar Jackson at all. He's not like Lamar Jackson at all.
In a sense that he can throw and run.
Sure, yeah. He's one of the best running quarterbacks along with Lamar Jackson. Sure, yes. That I will let you say.
If the Bills were able to get a wide receiver core that could, actually catch the ball, like your job, I could see them getting pretty far in offense. Frank Gore and Motor Singletary, as they call him, could probably get the game done on offense. Where the Bills really shine is their defense. Holy crap! They're in the top 5 teams at fewest points last season, which might surprise you. Yeah, I know.
Wow, it's like they've had a really easy schedule.
Okay, they almost beat the Patriots. I know they lost to the Eagles, but the Eagles are an on and off show themselves, so you never know how it's going to turn out. Anyway, it's either between Bills or the Raiders. The Raiders' defense, while being horrific, the offense, I could see them getting something done. John Gruden's a great leader. He's just going to find a way to get the team hyped up, get them fired up, get it ready to play. I definitely can see them going somewhere. I don't know. I would not say past the divisional round. Probably like the wild card, and they'd probably lose. Unfortunately, they'd probably lose to a way better team. As for the Bills, probably the wild card. Is the best they're gonna do too. Like how they did one time, they played Jacksonville and got knocked out. I don't know. There's not much to say for anything else. The AFC is definitely a team. It's definitely you could definitely get some changes around with the playoff picture. But I think for right now, I got the Colts and then either the Bills or the Raiders.
If the Bills or the Raiders, if you were to put those two teams on the same field right now, who would win?
If it would be a really close game.
Because the Raiders are 2 games behind.
Yeah.
So if the Bills would win that game, they'd probably make the playoffs.
The Bills have a better defense.
And nothing else.
The Raiders? Yeah. Their offense, the
Raiders have a better O-line. They have a better running back.
The running back situation's bad, though.
They have better pass catchers because Darren Waller, Williams, Hunter Renfrow look really good. And Derek Carr is better than Josh Allen.
That is true. I don't know. I think it'd be a close game. I might say the Raiders would win that one. I think it honestly would come down to where it's played at. If it's played at the Raiders Stadium, the Raiders are winning. If it plays at the Bills, quite possibly the Bills will win. Okay. What do you want to say?
I don't think
you seem like
I know the Bills are 6-2, but I can totally see them falling out of the playoff picture. It might be difficult because they'll have to finish with a 3-5 or a 2-6 record. Even if the Bills make the playoffs, I don't think they'll win first round. The Bills are not a team I'm high on. They've had an easy schedule. They get to play 2 games against the Jets and the Dolphins. Good for them. I think the Raiders and the Chargers are much better teams and much more deserved.
What about the Patriots? Patriots going to play those 2 games?
Yeah.
They're 4 games.
But who cares about the Patriots? Because at the end of the day, the Patriots are going to be in the AFC Championship just like they are every single year. At the end of the day, the Bills are barely going to make the playoffs, at best. And so when you look at it, when you have a team like the Chargers and the Raiders who are winning statement games against teams from the NFC North, and Josh Jacobs is coming on, and he's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Phillip Rivers is leading the NFL in passing, they have to be regarded as much better teams.
Well, coming back to your point, the Bills are 6-2, and with the Chargers being 4-5, the Bills would have to lose all of their games, which I don't think in any way possible that's going to happen to them. And then the Chargers have to win all their games, which I clearly don't see with their momentum. Obviously, they gained a little bit playing Green Bay, but they're in the fight right now, and if they lose the fight, then they're out. There's just nothing they're going to be able to do.
I mean, they could finish like 10-6 and still have a chance, or 9-7 and still have a chance.
And they get knocked out first round.
I don't know about that. The Bills would get knocked out first round.
Okay,
Chargers.
look what happened to Chargers last year. They played Tom Brady in the divisional round and they got their.
Yeah, and they won the first game.
Okay, good for them. And then in that case, then you could say any other team could do that if they were bad, and then they'd win their first game, and then would you say they're good?
I mean, any team that goes up to Foxborough in the divisional round usually loses.
Yeah, that's their
by
home
a
field
lot.
advantage. Yeah. Okay.
Titans a couple years ago.
Poor
It's
Titans.
usually bad. Texans a couple years ago. Ooh, with Brock Osweiler starting in that divisional game. Yikes! Well, where's he now? Oh, that's right, he retired. Brock Osweiler's out of the league. Poor guy.
Just call him a robber. How much money he stole from them?
He's a con man, just like Nick Foles, stealing money from NFL franchises.
Look at this. Look. He just said a couple minutes ago. Oh no. Nick Foles. He's only played a quarter. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
because
and
you
you
said
ripped
Nick
him
Foles-
every other debate.
Yeah, I don't like Nick Foles. Nick Foles is not very good. I don't think the Jags are going to make the playoffs. That's why I didn't come
So why
up
are you
here
defending him?
I wasn't defending. You said that he hasn't looked good this year. I said you can't say that about him because he's only played like 10 minutes of football. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you that Nick Foles isn't that good. I'm saying that we haven't had a good enough sample size this year to say that he's way worse than he was with the Eagles.
So I guess
Nick Foles is always going to play up and down.
No,
That's
yeah,
how he is.
no, definitely. I think for this year, it's going to depend really on how he does. Obviously, they benched Gardner Minshew after him going to London and completely not knowing what to do on the football field.
I mean, he threw for 300 yards though.
He threw for all them interceptions too, no touchdowns. Yikes. I just don't think any team was ready there, and the Texans definitely wanted to win that game more. But I think it's going to come down this year with Nick Foles and Jacksonville to who is going to be played the best. If Nick Foles ends up doing a bad job, I think you're going to bench him again. I think you're going to bench him. Obviously, the first time he was injured, so they had no choice but to start Gardner Minshew. But this year, if Nick Foles is bad, I think you're going to bench him. Jacksonville will bench him in hopes of Gardner Minshew taking the playoffs. That's all I have to say.
I agree.
Okay, and with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this debate. Like I predicted in the last debate when I was commentating, I got my butt kicked. I'm not very good at debating in football. Okay, so props to you. You won the debate, except when we had a conversation and then we're actually discussing, not fighting over it. That was pretty interesting.
I mean,
But
if Aaron Rodgers wins MVP at the end of the year,
then I'm right.
yeah, exactly. So,
Or if the Bills end up going to the playoffs, then I'm right. Hope you guys did like the video. Leave a comment down below telling us what you want to see for our Week 11 debate
or who you want to see.
and who you want to see. We had Aaron in the corner off camera doing homework.
Hi.
Yeah, there you go.
Turn up the volume. Hear his voice.
So drop a comment down below what you guys would like to see. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. You get a nice little notification sent to your email whenever we upload a new video, which is every Sunday at 10 a.m. We've been pretty good about that. At the beginning, we had a rough start, and then I learned to properly do it. So that's all fixed for that. And then like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it, obviously. Check out
Don't
our,
dislike it. Don't do that.
if you need to, and then leave some positive criticism in the comments, please. Check out our Instagram and Twitter for our Week 10 picks. I'm currently on the roll in first place, and Avon is currently on a roll in last place.
And just had to throw in that in there that you were in first. Yeah.
Good job.
Just had to throw that in.
Just had to throw it in.
Well, one more thing. We want to say a big thanks to Peter, like you just said. He does do a lot of the behind the scenes making the videos. You see a lot of us up here, but it's really Peter behind the scenes, really making these videos, editing them, and really making sure they're going out on time. So big thanks to my guy Peter up here. Thank you so much for doing so much for Redzone and Endzone, for the brand. You know what I'm saying? All right, so that's all we got this week.
Okay, and also thank you, Josh, for making the predictions and graphics. They are amazing.
On our Instagram,
yeah, they're better. They're better than what we originally had, and then we just had to move on. We fixed it up, and now they look muy bien. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so yeah, that'd be all. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.